Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you are well. I am, despite the gloomy day. I'm just going to start, I'm going to talk a bit about food today, my pantry, what I've got in store, but I've just had a Christmas present arrive. It's come a little bit early. This is from family, so it's alive. So I need to get it out of its packaging. Nice bit of ribbon, I will iron it. I really will iron it and use it again. So, crinkle crinkle. This is, oh sweet. Oh, I need to give it a bit of a clean off. That's, I'm going to keep this plastic here for now. It's some narcissi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little bulbs in there. And on the box it said paper white. So, yeah, little white narcissi. That's going to be lovely. I'll give them a bit of a watering. I think, yeah, I'm wondering if there's a bit of a sort of plastic liner inside. I've had that before when I've been sent live plants. Clean it up and I'm making it more mucky. Right, well, I will, oh yeah, I can see they're in a plastic pot. What I'll do for now is I'm just going to set them down on the draining board, get the watering can out. It feels fairly moist actually, all the moss on them. Yeah, just get the watering can out and give it a little bit of a drink. I'll set that down there for now. And I don't know if this is recyclable, this cellophane. I'll leave it for now. I'll look on the box actually and see if it's recyclable. It might be one of those that, sorry, crinkle crinkle, that has to go to a supermarket. I didn't have that where, with my supermarkets in London, I know that there's a lot of packaging now that you can't recycle it at home. I'm talking about the plastic stuff, but you can if you take it to your local supermarket. And folk were always telling me that when I was in London, but none of my supermarkets had that facility. So I'm delighted that here the Co-op does. So I have a little bag in the scullery. It's a very cute little, anyway, it's a little jute bag. So I put all my bits and bobs in there, and then about once every couple of months or so, I grab it all, take it with me up to the Co-op and get it recycled there. Right, talking of supermarkets, let's sit and natter and then we're going to look in the cupboards. Something I've been asked about quite a lot over the years in terms of doing my shopping. And it's a question I think has come from stateside. I think it's something that happens in the States, probably either way more than here, or here it doesn't happen at all. And that's the subject of couponing, clipping coupons. I've been asked so many times, why don't I clip coupons? Why don't I use coupons? I just don't see them. And that's what I mean. I don't know if it's something that we just don't have here, or maybe it's something we used to have but we don't have anymore. Partly I don't take a newspaper at all these days, and when I did used to take a paper, it was The Guardian. The only coupons ever in that were clip them out in order to get a free newspaper further down the line, sort of thing. So I don't know, maybe our red tops do it, but anyway, the point is this, it's just not something that's been on my radar because these coupons in my world don't exist until now. So the only sort of coupons that I've had offered to me in recent years is after I've done my shopping. So if I do a big shop at, say, Sainsbury's, you know, when we're using our sort of club cards, our, you know, loyalty cards, although I wouldn't call it a loyalty card. I have no loyalty. I'll go wherever I can get what I want for the cheapest. But once you've done your shopping, then you get invited, you get a coupon to say, oh, for your next shop, we'll give you a certain amount of money off. So recently I did a Sainsbury's order. What did I do it for? I think I had a visitor, and it might have been the last time the guys were here. So I'd done a biggest shop that got delivered, great. And then a few days later, I got an email to say, dear Miss Gregory, £8 off your next shop. That was in the title bar, £8 off your next shop. And I thought, brilliant, I'm not going to sniff at £8. Opened the email properly, and it was £8 off if I spend £80 or more. 80 quid, that's like a whole month's shopping. And yeah, there was no way I was going to be spending 80 quid. So it's very tempting. I have used a coupon, which I'm coming to in a second. It is very tempting when you see that money off and you think, oh, and it's the case of, well, if I did need to spend that kind of money, brilliant, I will use that 8 quid off. So that represents 10% off from my shop. Great. But that wasn't for me on that occasion. Back to the thing of clipping them out of newspapers, I don't know that that exists at all, but I believe, because I kind of hear adverts or I see them online, that if you've got a smartphone, you're going to have to get a smartphone, that you can use if you shop using that shop's app, then you can get some money off, or you can get a free item, that sort of thing. The one I saw was for Lidl, and I know that my ex-plot neighbours, the girls next door, they used to use Lidl, because that was our main supermarket in the area, and they used the app, and quite often they get a free baked good, and very often they bring me a baked good. So sweet of them. Sort of a donut or a pastry of some sort. Lovely. But if you don't have a smartphone, you don't get it. But I have just used a coupon and it felt great because so my supermarkets now are Co-op. Sorry, something in my eye. Co-op and Budgens. Budgens is fantastically expensive. It's crazy expensive. I wouldn't go there to do my weekly shop. I might pop in if I need one odd item, like the spud. I bought the spud there to do my potato printing on the wrapping paper. But so mainly it's the Co-op for my fresh bits, the kind of normal shop, and then every now and again I do the online thing with Sainsbury's for the heavier items. Anyway, through the letterbox the other day, I got a little booklet, leaflet thing, 6 or 8 pages, and it was from my local Co-op saying what all the offers are on. It's that tempting us in before Christmas. And I thought, I was about to put it straight into the recycling, had a quick flick through, none of it interests me. And then I saw on the back page, there were money off coupons, yay! So there was one for, if you spend £30, you get 6 quid off. So that's a 20% reduction. But even better, if you spend 20 quid, you get £5 off, and that represents a 25% reduction. That's a good chunk of money off the shopping. And as it happened, so there were a couple of copies and put through the letterbox. The one for the Airbnb above me, they didn't take it, so I thought, okay, well, I'll have that one as well. So I've ended up with 2 lots of the 2 coupons. Went to do my shopping, had my shopping list, and in my head I'd calculated that my shopping was probably going to come to about £14 or £15. So it's under the 20 quid, I'm not going to get the coupon, of course I'm not going to leave it at that. So I just thought about, okay, what are some of the store cupboard things I could get extra of? So in other words, I've got my £15 weekly shop. Let's do a £5 shop of stuff for the store cupboard that's actually not going to cost me anything. So I was really careful. So I did my normal weekly shop. I went round with my little trolley, did my weekly shop, and I was doing the maths in my head as I went round. If you're not comfortable doing mental arithmetic, have a little notepad on the top of your trolley and just mark the price down. You could, if it makes it easier, round the price up or round it down to the nearest, say 25p, so that you're adding up quarters and halves, if that makes sense. So I did my normal shop, went round, and I knew that it was going to, I can't remember exactly what it was now, but it was something like £14.70. So I thought, right, let's go and spend £5.30 on store cupboard stuff, which I did. It was actually a little bit more. My final bill came to £20.70 something pence. I didn't get a receipt, sorry. Anyway, it was about £20.70 something pence. So apply the £5 voucher, my shopping came to £15, what have you. So it's like I got £5 worth of food for free. Yay! So I don't know how often my co-op put that leaflet around. I'd seen another one earlier, maybe a couple of months ago, and I just thought, oh, it's junk mail, and I put it straight in the recycling. I won't be doing that again. I'll check in future. But yeah, so it arrived at the end of November, and the use by date is the 28th of December. So I've got another one to use, which is great. Well, we'll have a look in the cupboards in a minute. I don't particularly need anything at the moment, but again, I might just think, right, do a store cupboard, do a whole 20 quid's worth of store cupboard stuff for 15 quid. That'll take me into next year. Brilliant. Right, so that aside, anyway, you know, £5 off 20 quid, a 25% reduction. That absolutely makes a joke of Sainsbury's 8 quid off 80, doesn't it? Yay. Right, so let's see what I've got in store. You want to see in my cupboards and in my freezer, apparently, so I'm going to show you. But actually, my pantry, it starts outside. So let's first of all go outside. Now, of course, my pantry isn't just what's in the kitchen. So you can see I've got my bits of chard. There's more chard here, there's plenty of chard, and because it's a cut and come again veg, I'll just harvest a leaf or two from each plant when I'm harvesting. Don't harvest too much from any one plant, and it just keeps coming back and sprouting. Look at these beautiful new sprouts in there, they're looking lovely. So yeah, plenty of chard out here to keep me going, a bit more chard here too, and of course kale. So I mean, this is lovely. Just take 1 or 2 leaves at a time for a meal. Bob's your uncle, Job's, I was going to say Bob's are good and Job's are good and Bob's your uncle, all of that. So yes, this is very much part of the pantry too. But yeah, let's check the indoor pantry. Sort of continuing the theme of outside, because these were outside. That's the squash that I've got left. So I've had my uchiki curry, some of it's in the freezer. I had what the big butternut has been and gone now. So this is all that remains. That's little Miss Wall Squash. Isn't she beautiful and perfect? And that's the one that decided it wanted a sister. So they're really, really tiny, but it's food, isn't it? Right, so let's have where should we go next? Oh, fridge and freezer, I think. It looks a bit bare. I mean, it's never massively packed, but things, well, these things I always have in store or to hand. Some tahini, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, always tons of garlic on hand, and that's some mustard l'ancienne. That's a whole grain. There is in here, there's a block of halloumi. Richard and Paul brought that on one of their visits, so actually let's use it up next time they're here, because I've only had halloumi once in my life. It was done by someone else and I didn't like it, so I'm hoping that Richard and Paul use it in a way that I'm going to really like. They can teach me, and yeah, have a nosh down on that. Otherwise, I've got just some remains of some chopped nuts, cashews, pumpkin and sunflower seeds. I normally also have some mixed nuts in the fridge, but they've run out. So if I do a stock up, I can put mixed nuts on the list because they're quite expensive as well. Bit of cheese, there's almost always a bit of cheese, and look, I love all sorts of cheeses, I really do, but I generally, in terms of what have I got in store, it'll be a mature cheddar, just because it's so versatile. Ignore my phone. Couple of yogurts. I have half a pot at a time. It's a kefir yogurt, Yo Valley Organic Kefir yogurt. So I'll have half a pot at a time with berries of some description. Those are blueberries, obviously. Next door, that's today's food. That's lunch and supper. And then tomorrow, that's lunch and supper. They've come from the freezer. I've been whittling down my freezer meals to make space. I want to have a go with the Instapot, so I'm making space by using up lots of freezer food. But that's quite common as well. I've been so busy recently, so busy that, yeah, cooking, it's like, oh, have I got time to cook? I've got a cooking day planned in about 4 days. There's some ingredients ready. But yeah, so during these busy times, soup for lunch, something for supper, soup for lunch, something for supper, great. Always have onions on hand. I've got some mushrooms because I'm going to be doing probably a curry. I'll use half in a curry and half in, I'll do a bolognese type thing. And with some veggies, that's gorgeous. Really quite a big cauliflower. I can do lots with that. Some broccoli, carrots, and some greens. I think they're both spinach, but of course, not forgetting in the garden, I've got the kale and chard. So that's my fridge. I know it looks a bit meagre, but there's just me here. There's just one person, and then there are times when it's both the veg tray at the bottom and then this bottom shelf is packed with fresh veggies. That'll be like shopping the day before I'm going to do some batch cooking. So, you know, also having a minimum means it's about not wasting anything as well. So then the freezer, this top drawer is all my ready meals, not soups, but ready meals. And you can see I've really walloped it because there was a row in the middle as well, sideways on. It's normally 3 deep, but off the top of my head, I think there's some fasolada. That looks like, oh, that's 3-bean chili. What are you? You might be 3-bean chili too. Oh, and then this is the last of the apple puree, frozen apple puree. So yeah, I do need a cooking session. And then I'm going to grab a chair because I'm at an awkward angle. This next drawer, can you see what it is? It's all tomato. It's heavy. It's absolutely chock-a-block. So that's 4, 8, 12 across the back, 12 across the front. So that's 24. That's the equivalent of tins. That's 24 in there. And then this one was also full of tomato, but it's gone down considerably. So you can see that back, that's 4 tomatoes and 1, 2, 3 tomatoes, so 7 and 24. So that's 31 portions of tomatoes left. Great. I've got some chickpeas. I bought this is an extra cheese. This is what I mean about when I spent the extra to take it up to 20 quid. It included the cheese. I've got my lovely edamame beans there. That's one full unopened one. That's one I started on. Ooh, it's cold. Vivi, it's in a freezer. Yeah, chickpeas. This is the last of the uchiki curry. There's 2 there, so each one of these will go into curry or, you know, whatever I fancy. And then this is soup, because I've got too much soup. That looks like carrot and lentil. Yum, yum. So there's 2 soups in there. And then the bottom drawer is all soups. So that looks like, yeah, that looks, oh, that's uchiki curry. And that looks like courgette. And that looks like a tomato. But yeah, they're crammed in. That looks like that's all courgette soups as well. So there's 1, 2, 3. It's only a little drawer because it butts into the motor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 soups there, 2 soups there, so it's 12 soups. So I'm almost, I mean, with these bits, I could eat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's almost a week of food if I didn't do any cooking. And with the soups, it's almost a fortnight. Right, let's get this shut and check out what else I've got for scoffing. This is quite a hard-working bit of the kitchen, hence it's right next to the cooker. So that's tea, that's my chamomile peppermint tea. But otherwise, herbs and spices. So there are, oh, one of my hair on there. I've got herbe de Provence, I've got some dill, oregano, thyme, there's paprika, there's garam masala, there's turmeric, coriander, cumin, chilli, smoked paprika, cardamom, a little tiny bit of of rock salt. I rarely use it, but I have it. Vinegar, oil, stock, great. It's all to hand. And I think just that little selection of herbs and spices can really pretty much jazz up anything. Then the usual culprits in storage, there's long grain brown rice, there's risotto rice. I haven't made a risotto in ages, just in terms of, you know, trying to lose weight. There's some ground seeds, quinoa, orange lentils. Right on the bottom shelf, there's green lentils, pasta. Actually, I had to get a new jar for my pasta because I was clipping my other one shut a couple of weeks or so ago, and the whole top section shattered, the glass shattered. I've never experienced that. Crikey, it gave me a fright. Anyway, so yeah, pasta, what else? I've got ready and waiting for my Instant Pot playing. I've got some dried chickpeas. I've got the spare porridge oats. So I'm just getting to the bottom. I keep the ones for use. I keep next to the stove top. Once that's emptied and I put these in there, that's my cue to buy the next one in. So there's always that spare one ready. Also on here, my large can of oil that I decant into the little one next to the stove because the glass jar is easier to use. Some flour, some dried fruit, and then the rest of that shelf, it's all tea, coffee, honey, etc. for visitors. So let me just show you this shelf. This is all for visitors. That's what I keep for my visitors. I don't use any of it. It's for them. And finally, what's in the cupboard? Well, this is my food cupboard, but it's not all food. Like I said, I don't actually keep a lot in. So as you can see, that's all Tupperware. This is a lot of Tupperware, and again, this is about visitors. That's a cereal for visitors. That's that lovely pasta that Kate brought over, but I haven't used yet. And then this is just kitchen bits and bobs that are to hand, you know, like my beeswax wraps and things. So there's no food in there, and apart from the pasta, which I will use, there's no food on that bottom shelf for me. There's no food over there. This is my food. This is what I use and rely on. And I think I'm going to have to sit down to show you. Okay, I feel weird sitting in this corner. I've never sat here. But yeah, it just makes it a bit easier. Let me just pull that out. It's just odds and ends. So, oat cakes, there's only a couple in there. See, that's the other thing. When, you know, I was saying about that last voucher I've got, I could maybe stock up on some oat cakes. The big stock, the spare tomato paste, and, just a tiny spare bit of rice. But otherwise, this is the tins department. So what have we got? Rattle through. That's this is what the chaps brought. I've never used it before. It's pasta sauce. I would never think to have it from a jar, but I certainly use it and enjoy it, I'm sure. Plus some sun-dried tomato pesto. I do like to have this in the store cupboard, and that is sun-dried tomatoes. So I usually have one of those in the cupboard. I don't use it very often, but I like to have it there so that if I fancy it, it's there. And then if I've made something with it, again, that's one of those things I think, okay, buy one next time you're shopping, or next time you've got a smallish shop, pop a sun-dried tomato in with that shop so you're not going over budget, and then it's in the cupboard again. So a couple of coconut milks, coconut cream, one is light, one's not. What do we call it? Curry. Guys bought this, baked beans, so I'll have that with them next time they're here. And then we get into my much more bog standard stuff. 3 tins of chickpeas. This is Co-op. They don't do an organic chickpea. And like I said, once I get that Instant Pot out and get learning, I'll be able to buy dried organic chickpeas and get my own done and popped in the freezer ready for using. 1 tin of kidney beans. Again, they're not organic, never mind. I bought those with that store cupboard £5 extra because I thought it's nice to have a variety of beans. Black beans, talking of variety, so that's part of the way there for a 3-bean chilli. Black lentils, so black lentils with the sun-dried tomatoes, and I've ended up with 2 because the guys brought 1. Artichoke hearts, that's a goodly ways towards that beautiful salad. Gorgeous. Yeah, more beans, haricot beans. So I've got black beans, kidney beans, haricot beans, chickpeas. Oh, and then this is, oh my goodness, I can't wait to use these. I've never tried them before. They're like chickpeas. They're called Queen Carlin peas. So this was something that Kate brought. This bold bean coat. I've got to say, so they're the equivalent of 2 tins, and I think they retail, crikey, they're expensive. They're around the sort of £3.50 mark. But what have I used so far? I used the butter beans and I used them in a fasolada, and they were unbelievably good. They didn't go to mush. I can't stand butter beans that just go to mush. Horrible. They really retained some bite, and in fact, did I make it while Kate was here? I think I must have done, because I did say, wow, these are going to give Gigantes beans a run for their money. So I don't think it would be part of any of us for our everyday shopping, but if you're going to make something and you want it to be extra special, yeah. So I had the butter beans in a fasolada, and I've used some of the chickpeas, and they were gorgeous, really plump, but with a really good bite. Yum, yum, yum. And then the rest is tomatoes. How many tomatoes have I got? Oh dear. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 tins of tomatoes. So, this is from before the harvest came in, and I'd done a bulk order with Sainsbury's, doing that heavy, weighty stuff, let them carry it to my door. Yay! And then, of course, the harvest started coming in, so they've sat in the back of the cupboard, ignored. Oh, I haven't put dates on anything. I was getting into the habit of dating. Oh, August 2027. Oh, I'll use them way before then. But the point is that, what did I say I've got in the freezer? 24 plus 7, 31. They will be used up before the next harvest comes in by, say, mid-August. They'll be long gone. So, yay, I've got some tins waiting. I don't think I'll get any more I'll leave them out actually. I'll give the shelf a clean because it's not been cleaned since I moved in. But that's it, that's my pantry. And what I'll probably do with that fibre, the only thing, yeah, the Co-op doesn't have a huge choice of organic stuff. They do sell a range of the Suma things, but it's all, they don't sell ingredients, they sell meals. So what I mean by that is, I want to buy just a tin of beans, and what they sell is like a 3-bean soup in a tin. That's not what I want. I want to make my own stuff. But maybe I could try some of their... No, I don't want to try tinned soup. I want to make my own soup. Anyway, I will have a think about it. I've got plenty in stock with my tins, with my dried stuff in the jars, with produce in the freezer, with a bit of produce still in the garden. If I didn't go to the shops for a month, I'd be fine. I'd just be lacking for fresh stuff. Oh, and I've got some fruit over the back there. I've got some satsumas and a couple of apples. So yeah, if I didn't go to the shops for a month, the only thing I would be lacking would be some of the fresh stuff, because all I've got fresh is chard and kale. But anyway, yeah, I'm well stocked. I'm happy. Right, I need to go and see what that phone beep beep was about. So I shall bid you all adieu for now, and I think the next time I see you, it might be Christmas Day. Who knows? Oh, and I should say as well, there might be a couple of foodie bits under the tree too, because here we are right in the lead up to Christmas, and you might be thinking, where's your Christmas food, Vivi? I'm probably going to have a pizza for Christmas Day. Because I just want a day off. That's Christmas Day to me. It's about having a day off. So I might just have a pizza. I could put some tomatoes. Oh, I haven't got any olives. And I haven't got any mince pies. There we go. So the only thing I will buy in, especially for Christmas now, is my pizza, some mince pies, and maybe a jar of olives. But otherwise, yeah, I've got everything I need and want. All right, lovely. So I'll see you, I think, yeah, Christmas Day. I'll see you then. Until then, happy cooking, but more importantly, happy eating and scoffing. Until then, cheerio.